I'm going to play a little bit of drums. I'm using two TD20 modules here, a lot of KD7 trigger pads, and I'll just play a little bit and I hope you enjoy it, okay? So, bon voyage. I just want to say a few things about the gear. Like I said, I'm using 2 TD20 sound modules. 2 brains because I have so many inputs on this kit that I need 2. One of the brains, the left one, is mainly for all the foot stuff, for all the trigger inputs from my kick drum pedals. And I'm using 10 pedals. This is a hi-hat controller on my left, which is very cool because I use it not only as a hi-hat controller, but I can use it also to tune the drums differently. For example, I have this one setup where I can change the tuning of the kick drum with the hi-hat controller. If I press the controller down, I'll get a high sound. If I open the hi-hat, which gives me here I'm using a twin effect pedal on a KD8 trigger pad because it's got 2 beaters, and obviously that works better on a KD8 and not on a KD7. Then I've got 3 KD7 trigger pads set. The great thing about the KD7s is I can set them up very close to each other, so I don't have to jump such a wide distance between pedals when I do multi-pedal stuff. And I like to play orchestration with my feet because you can play some. It's basically the same thing I can do with my hands. You can play a pattern, a paradiddle on one drum, or you can orchestrate it. It's still a paradiddle, but it sounds a lot more interesting. So I do the same thing with my feet. I take patterns like a paradiddle, but I orchestrate them or whatever. Any pattern goes. This setup now here, the top configuration, is basically a replica of my acoustic set with a gong drum, snare drum, 8-inch, 10, 12, 16, 18, and a surdo. My 22-inch kick drum, a 14-inch kick drum. And a 24-inch kick drum. This is a percussion effect, cymbal effect, cowbell, and this is an octobound sound. And a hi-hat controller, of course. So this is pretty much a replica of my acoustic kit, but in addition to that, obviously the modules allow me to use completely different sounds, like marimba sounds like I played earlier, or any other percussion sound, melodic sounds, and about 6 gazillion other drum sounds. So it's a very convenient tool for working for me. I use it all the time in the studio, obviously, on the road. I've been using the gear for over 10 years now in a hybrid setup with my acoustic kit, and it's great for me to work at home in my studio to do pre-production and production and play on demos, and I do a lot of sessions on it too. In fact, probably about 80% of, maybe not 80, but 70% of the sessions I did in England in the last few years were all on V-drums. So it's a very convenient and essential tool for me in my job. Plus, it's a great practice system as well. One example I give here occasionally is the fact that you can fade out or fade down certain sounds if you're working on something in terms of coordination. If you're working on a pattern that's a little more complex and you need to concentrate on a certain component, you can crank it up or turn it down. If you're working on this and you do stuff on top of that, you can turn one component down and only concentrate on whatever part you're playing. It's a great practice system that way. Plus, you can of course turn it down, and when it's late at night, you can still practice and make noise where everybody else is sleeping. So I don't have much time in the daytime, so at night you can still go and turn it down, put the cans on, and you're ready to roll.